This video is brought to you by BlueStacks. Go ahead and support my sponsor by downloading Diablo Immortal either in the description or in the pinned comment. You can click on that and it will support my sponsor as well as myself. Thank you so much, and let's get going with the video. What I wanted to do today is review Diablo Immortal now that the dust has settled a little bit. I am level 34 Paragon, which means I'm getting half the reduced experience. I've been playing quite a bit. I've got my gear upgraded to the point where I feel fairly confident about it. I got a pretty decent combat rating at 1769. I got pretty good resonance because I did some pay to win. I've basically experienced what I think at this point the game has to offer. Now, there is still some things in Ultra in-game I haven't experienced, like there is other hell difficulties, there is higher grinds in Hell 2, there's Hell 3, 4, and 5. We have grinded a little bit in Hell 3, it is possible, but we haven't been able to make it to Hell 4 and Hell 5, but it is the same zones with the same dungeons. I've done the Battle Pass for the last couple weeks now. I'm halfway through the Battle Pass for this week here. I've done a pretty good PvP. I've been on the leaderboard of rank 1s, but now if you look at the Battlegrounds here, I'm rank 3 on the Battlegrounds. In the Challenge Rift, I'm all the way dropped down to rank 7 at 50 because people are climbing like crazy here. But I've played the game. Okay, I've played the game. So here's what I want to say about it. First and foremost, if you are looking for a game that you want to play casually, I think Diablo is quite good. Impressively, they actually managed to turn Diablo into sort of the reverse of what it normally was, which was a niche, non-pay-to-win, hardcore PC grinder game. And now Diablo Immortal is actually more of a casual-friendly, cross-play, pay-to-win game. The reason I say it's casual-friendly is because of the way they have the caps in the system. Basically, you can play for about 4 hours and get the effectiveness that someone else who's playing for 16 hours gets if you're behind. For this reason, you might think, okay, well, this kind of sucks, but there's a way you can actually sort of abuse this, because what you can do, we figured out, is you make a character, you get to however high Paragon level you want. Like I'm 34, I'm getting half experience now because I'm pushed. Then you go make an alt and you level your alt, and you get the bonus experience on the Paragon levels for your alt. So, and then you would just rotate through your alts playing all the different classes. So for that reason, we think the game's actually quite casual friendly, where what you want to do is just basically play what you want, not really focus on the leaderboards at all, and then rotate through all your different classes, trying out the different classes to keep that bonus experience going. That way it's exciting. We know it's also fairly casual friendly because there's things like the bounty boards, which have daily activities. There's the shadow contracts, which you get one new one of a day. Basically, by the time you've done all of your activities in any given day, it's going to take you about 3 hours at the cap of it. And then after that, it's going to be if you're grinding, if you're doing PvP, if you're just going above and beyond. But make no mistake, 2 to 3 hours should be about all the time you need to play in game. Now, you may be worried about this in terms of like, well, it's a Diablo game and I want to grind a lot. But shockingly enough, a lot of the people who are playing the game actually don't mind this as much as you might think. The reason being is, while it's frustrating for me to be level 34 and getting half experience, I'm noticing that the entirety of my clan is sort of able to keep up, and players who I normally wouldn't be able to play with as much, I'm being able to play with more. Now, this sort of comes at a social currency cost of me not being able to be that much stronger than everybody else because of the XP negation. But it also is somewhat more enjoyable because while the grind is rough for me, like I can't get as much experience. And for the people that are even higher Paragon level than me, there's people that are like Paragon 40 by now, like crazy numbers. They're getting like 10% experience. While it sucks for those people, it does actually sort of make the overall server health feel a little bit better, I've noticed. So I kind of can see both sides on this one as well. The actual gameplay experience itself is quite smooth. The graphics for me are visually quite entertaining. I think that the moves and the ability in the classes available, there's 6 different classes available. I think those are all quite enjoyable as well. I think the actual, when you go into combat here, and I'm going to go into combat and show you, I think the actual movement of the characters in combat, the actual skill use in combat, I think this is all pretty close to flawless. I think that if we talk about the pay-to-win side of it, there's some to be desired. I think they need to fix the cash shop a little bit. It's a little bit too expensive. I think the drop rates for 5-star legendary gems could be buffed. I think that Eternal Crest and Legendary Crest should be made one and the same, and the free-to-play should be able to freely trade their gems. I think there's a few things that could be added, like maybe better inventory space and have it not be tied behind the Boon of Plenty. That's a login type of thing. There's a few things that are a little bit annoying about the pay to win. But honestly, because of what I've mentioned earlier about it being sort of a casual game focus, I do believe that this game is better stated for people that actually don't want to play it the way I'm playing. Like, I don't think the game is best played the style I'm playing, where you play like 12 to 14 hours a day. I actually think that style is probably the worst style to play this game. I think this game is going to be like 10 times more enjoyable if you literally play it casually, and maybe you worry about the Darklands, maybe you don't. You just log in, you play with your buddies. You don't really worry about the leaderboards. You play the class you want to play, because you can see that the combat itself is actually quite good. I think the graphics for a mobile game are actually quite good. I think the social systems in the game are quite good too. I'm able to do Elder Rifts with people that literally aren't even level 60 yet, and it scales all so well where we all feel like we're contributing. There's a bunch of systems in the game that are actually really enjoyable. So if you're asking me, in my personal opinion, I'm gonna actually say that I think I nailed it the first time I ever was talking about this game, which is after looking at the numbers, looking at the shop offers, looking at the beta footage and everything. I came to the undeniable conclusion that I think this game is best played either free to play or with only $5 spent on the Battle Pass. After having bought the Battle Pass, I think I went by the $15 one. You don't need the collectors. It just gives you a little bit better skin. I think that the $5 one has immense value. So I think if you're going to play this game, spend $5 and either buy the Battle Pass or don't spend any money at all. Try multiple different characters, see what you think about them. The game doesn't really cater itself to having multiple strong alts, only in the way I mentioned earlier, where the Paragon level system kind of punishes you from pushing too far, so you might as well start an alt and mess around with it. In that way, it does encourage it, but it also is pretty fast to level once you know what you're doing, I feel like. Elder Rifts, like I was saying, are one of the faster ways to level, and they actually scale really well with people, so you can even play with your clanmates who are on their main hero, like spamming Elder Rifts for Paragon experience. You can even play with them once you're like level 20 on an alt and still be able to play with your same buddies who are grindy and all that. So there's a few niceties like that in the game. Overall, if you're asking me a 1 to 10, I think that after getting to Paragon level 34, I originally thought the game was like an 8.5 or 9. I'm going to bring it down to an 8, maybe a 7.5. Reason being, I think that monetization could be improved. I believe that the in-game itself, while being enjoyable for the people that are playing longer hours, can be frustrating, though I did make some points in this video as to how I feel about that. But overall, I think for a launch month, it's been surprisingly stable with the servers. While there has been bugs, I think that it's been a fairly decent launch. There's been a lot of negative press covering it. I think it's starting to cool off a little bit now. I'm curious to see what the people who are actually playing and stayed in the game are going to think of this as well. Please let me know your experience with the game. This is just sort of my honest feedback about how I felt about the game so far. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Support my sponsor by downloading the link down below, and I'll see you on the next video.